kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
All right, everybody, and welcome into Sunday Night NASCAR here down in Sweet Home, Alabama. My name is James Riles, and with me in the booth is Liam. Liam, how are you doing today, and are you excited to see some NASCAR action here at the Super Speedway?
Man, I can't even begin to put the excitement into words right now. We're sitting here at Talladega, the biggest, baddest track in all of NASCAR, 2 2/3 miles. Originally opened in 1969 as the Alabama International Motor Speedway. It's got a lot of history, and yeah, I mean it's the biggest, baddest track in all of NASCAR. And we've got almost 30 guys sitting here ready to go. And we've got some playoff implications going on as we're in the second race here of the round of 12. A lot of guys trying to make their way up into the top 8 here before the cutoff, and Talladega is going to be a wild card. A lot of these guys could be hoping for a great finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself as these guys. And here's the chance, right? It's at Talladega. This isn't really a place where you have to be, I'll say it, you don't have to be super skillful to guarantee your way in. You have to do the right things and make good decisions. But for a lot of these guys, this is going to be their best chance to lock themselves in to that next round. And speaking of, let's see who's in this round of 12. Of course, Alex Murray, RJ Root, Joe Stafford, Miller, Ward, Samuelson. A lot of these guys are pretty much locked in on points, but there's a couple that really need some help here. Chris Claude, Breidenbach, a couple of them that could really use this to even out the odds, so to speak.
Yeah, we talk about that bubble race, and 8th place right now has 3,029 points. 12th place has 3,020. So, I mean, 9 points is separating Chris Claude in the last spot of the playoffs here to move on. 9 points is a separation here, as we've got one of the biggest wild cards of the season, and then we go into the Roval next weekend. So we're going to see a lot of guys try to get some extra points here and maybe make some moves that you wouldn't quite see them do throughout the rest of the season, just given the track. But it's going to be a blast. We've got a super tight race for the bubble here. Stephen Cornez trying to hold on, and he's only 2 points behind Jeremy Miller. Nolan Hodgson 2 points in front of him. So realistically, from 6th down to 12th, there's 13 points of separation. We could see a lot of things happen and a lot of flip-flopping here.
Definitely, as we're about to get ready here, but everybody has already put down their laps. Matt White is going to be starting on the pole position. As of right now, if Ken Ron, Randy Spivey, or any of those other folks get out there, that might change things. But we are here at the full configuration of Talladega. Here it is 105 degrees down there at the track. 82 is the weather, so a really nice clear day to watch some Talladega Superspeedway racing here in Talladega, Alabama. So, but
certainly a gorgeous day to be up in the stands, but it's going to be a treacherous day with that 105 degrees you mentioned there. That's going to be tough on these tires, and you might see these guys sliding a little bit more than they maybe expected to.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about Talladega, right? It's a little bit different of a stretch than some other speedways you may know of. But it's so wide. It's so wide here at Talladega. You can kind of get off in the turns a little bit, but the way it's different than Daytona, you don't see those top line runs as much here at Dega, just because of the way the track is configured here for the Yellowwood 500. It's going to be a lot of excitement, and I know I'm excited. Hope everybody else is excited as well, as we see where everybody kind of is right now. Everybody in blue there is going to be in the playoffs. So if my calculations are correct there, sure. Yeah, everyone there is going to be in the playoffs. That's going to be in your ticker and your tower. So keep an eye on your favorite drivers there as well. Another thing I would like to mention, folks, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So be sure and hit that like button. Let us know who you're here to watch. We definitely want to see more of that and give you more of the driver that you're here to watch. So there we go. We're live on YouTube right now, but Facebook. But yeah, Liam, it's going to be a blast. We got about a minute left here before we get through the grid. Any final notes on what we need to see from some of these drivers?
Well, 94 laps at Talladega is a long race. We're looking at least a couple of pit stops here. I'd say 2 to 3. We'll see what people are thinking in terms of strategy, but it's, yeah, I mean, we can say this every week. It's not going to be one on the first lap. This is going to be a lot of hurry up and wait, you know, when it comes to the pit stops and setting yourself up for a final run to the finish. I don't know. I think we'll see a lot of different strategies, but that's kind of my logic. Hurry up
absolutely. And with these teams, we've got a lot of teams here, but the teams are smaller because, you know, in NASCAR, it's by manufacturer when you're going to pit. So we're definitely going to see some green flag pit stops here. We're going to see some different people coming down with different buddies, so to speak. And that's where it's really going to be interesting to see where everybody's going to line up, especially with the playoffs works. We talked to some of the guys from Field Filler last week, and they have said, hey, it's the playoffs. I'm not working with teammates right now. We're just here trying to help each other a little bit. But if it comes to a win, I've got to do what I've got to do to lock myself in so I don't have to go out and perform at the Roval.
Yeah, and that's the biggest point you just made right there. If you win this race, one of these playoff drivers, you don't have to worry at the Roval. You're into the round of 8, and you can worry about those next 3 races, setting yourself up for Phoenix. That's what's on the line for these drivers right now. I mean, we've got a lot of guys out here. We got 28 drivers on track right now, all trying to get a checkered flag in their hands here by the end of this thing. But there's 12 playoff drivers trying to work their way into the round of 8. We talked about how close that bubble battle is. 13 points separating 12th to 6th. A win from somebody like Chris Claude, somebody in the back there, that's going to throw that thing completely upside down.
Absolutely. And so let's go ahead and get started with our playoff, or not our playoff, I'm sorry, but the grid, as we like to do here in Sunday Night NASCAR. Let's start out with Matt White, going to be in that pole position. Then we have Zach Rinker on the outside in the 09 machine. Josh Ward inside row number 2, and then we have Jeremy Miller in the 30 machine. Outside row 3 is going to be the 88 of Joseph Cossey. Then we have the 23 of Austin Story on his inside. Corey Burkett in that, I hope that's just a white cream 13 for you as well.
I was seeing the same thing. But
there we go.
Ford
Joseph
Mustang
Lester
looking pretty good in 7th place.
Yeah, definitely. Joseph Lester in the 18 machine, the Waffle House 18. I like that. And of course, we got Charles Eaton on the 75, in that 75 machine. Hodgson going to be on the inside, row number 5. Chad Sander there in the 59. Brad Gunn going to be outside row 6 with RJ Root on his inside. Zindler Collins there in the 49. Chris Claude starting pretty high up there in the 10. Then Zindler Collins there in the 49 as well. Nicholas Bryden back in that GM 24. Alex Murray underneath him. Alex has taken SNN by storm, hopefully able to do so as well here at Talladega. Leo Bonacasa up there in that pink 45 machine. Of course, it is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so keep an eye on that number 45 to get up there. G7 to Joe Stafford looking really well. Jeff Carson in that mission 22. He's actually in the 9. Showing 22, usually Randy Spivey, if I'm not seeing something correctly. But
I've seen him in the 9.
You're seeing him in the 9?
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing then. That is odd there.
Well, we got Steve Cortez, Matt Gaskins, Zach Vaughn, Dave Riegel, Zach Osborne, and Alexander Gengler running out the field. Sorry to cut you off there, James, but we got the start coming up here, and, well, this is going to be one we want to see. Green flag is out. We are racing here at Talladega. Zach Rinker trying to get himself a nice bump there on the top side. He's actually going to go ahead and get clear with a huge push from Jeremy Miller. And Joseph Cossey's going to get down to the inside as well. The top 3 on the outside get down to the inside. And now we've got the top 5 single file. Top 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes about the top 10 up until we've got some side-by-side action. But we're already seeing a couple of guys looking down to the low side trying to get out of this pack. You see the 75, Charles Eaton, backing up out of this pack. He doesn't want any part of the early drama. And we take a look at this second pack trying to also figure themselves out. You're going to have a group of guys trying to get back up to the front and another group of guys totally willing to just sit back. The first lap is just about complete here, and we've got the 88 looking up top, trying to make a move on the outside, but nothing doing right now. Zach Rinker leads lap number 1 here at Talladega.
And that's what it's going to take here at Dega. Only 94 laps here. It's not a short race, but you definitely don't want to be caught in the middle, as we are 3 wide here in the middle right now. It's self-cleaning track here, so you got to be very careful about where you're running. If you're on that bottom side like 81 of Brian Samuelson trying to make your way up there, as it's going to get rough, especially right now. Big checkup as the number 9 tries to get in. Able to do so, but keep an eye on these guys, as it is just going to get more wild and crazy as they're trying to figure these things out.
So obviously, we know iRacing has scanned this track relatively recently, and if anybody watched the Cup race today, you know there's a massive bump getting down into turn number 3, and right before that transition, that's going to upset these cars a good amount. So that'll be something to kind of be interesting to watch, especially you see that 48 pushing that back bumper of the 88. When they get into a sketchy spot where it's bumping around, you get up into that transition, that might make these cars a little bit upset. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. But look at how strong those 2 on the outside are all by themselves, actually making ground up on the outside versus the inside lane. Up to the top, you see there goes Jeremy Miller trying to take advantage of that run.
Definitely something we saw a little bit in the race earlier with your boy Kevin Harvick. You can push these things, and you can darn near get hooked up with somebody and just go. Get those two cars working together, and it's going to take a while for folks to catch up with you as we roll over the lap 4 here. Jeremy Miller out front, Zach Rinker down on the bottom, Cossey in that 88 up, and of course Josh Ward in the one machine. It is going to be very quick. Very quick we're trying to get this done as they are already 2x2, nobody giving anything.
No, not at all. You see that outside run. Huge push from the 88, Joseph Cossey, pushing Jeremy Miller, trying to get that advantage coming out front. Not quite clear of the 09, getting down into turn 3 and 4. You know, he was hoping to. But the inside lane has a lot more cars lined up, and those guys are a lot closer together. I think they're probably going to be strong here as you see a third, well, not a third, but you see the second part of that second lane getting closer and closer to the front 3. Side by side for the race lead, getting down into turn number 1. Jeremy Miller gets clear through 1 and 2, and he's got himself another big push from that 88, Joseph Cossey. Joseph has figured out how to work that Chevrolet front bumper to the back bumper of somebody else to make a push happen without getting them too squirrely. As you see, the top 3 on the outside getting clear, and now the 18 jumps down to the inside. That's Joseph Lester in the Waffle House Toyota Camry, trying to make everything happen. He's down to second. He's side by side for the lead with a huge push from the 09 of Zach Rinker. Outside lane is now bumper to bumper, through and through. They're getting a big run through the tri-oval. I believe Jeremy Miller's going to lead that lap. But we're starting to see how these lanes are, kind of forming, and how the closer you get to the guy in front of you, although you want to leave a little bit of space in case something happens. But even if you're the third or fourth or fifth car in line, you want to be a little bit closer to try to help that push for the whole line. It's a tough spot to be in when you can't see what's in front of you, but all of these guys doing everything they can, and you look at that push on the inside, there's Zach Rinker pushing the 18 of Joseph Lester, trying to get him clear of that 30 car, trying to take the lead coming up off of turn number 4. Look at this angle here. We've got Hodgson working that back bumper. He lets off a little bit in the tri-oval, but now getting to the straightaway, getting out of the transition. He's going to try to get right back up on the back bumper of Austin Story here.
This is just amazing what we're seeing. And notice how the drivers are staying so far apart. That top line is so far high, and that bottom line not really trying to affect them at all. Shortest way around the track, they really don't have to. But that top line not really doing the side draft that they could to try and make this a little bit closer battle, but it looks like they're not needing it. They keep getting these runs coming out of the turns. It's not going to get them out ahead, but it's definitely going to keep them up there, and it's going to make Joseph Lester, who's up front right now in that 18, think about it, whether he wants to try and block a run up high this early on, as like you said, they're just absolutely pushing the daylights. The 09 is pushing Joe Lester pretty much more than he can know what to do with. He's handling it very well. As the chats are active, one says let's go the 57. You would know that name and number if you've watched any racing here at all. Of course, that is Joe Stafford, who's currently hanging out in the back. He didn't want anything to do with this mess, but definitely count him in later on. And then, of course, Murray. Alex Murray is one of the defending. He was a regular season champ with more than 10 wins so far. He's been absolutely killing it.
We got
Propel.
Chats for Propel, yeah. Propel's got a lot of fans up in there. Team MHR as well, getting some love in the chat. We love everybody showing up on YouTube and hanging out with us, as we've got some of the best guys on the service going toe-to-toe for 94 laps here at Talladega. We're sitting here on lap number 8, so just under 80 laps to go. Still a long ways to go, and these guys are racing pretty hard. And as you mentioned before, you're not seeing a whole heck of a lot of side draft on the top side. I think these guys are really just trying to get in line and figure out what the pushes are doing, more so than trying to figure out a side draft deal. You're seeing that outside lane get a good run up top here with a huge push out of Joseph Causey to Jeremy Miller. Gets him the 88 and almost the 48 clear down to the bottom of Joseph Lester. But like you said, James, we're not seeing a whole heck of a lot of side drafting early on. We saw maybe one corner when these guys are trying to see maybe a look to 3 wide right there.
Yeah, interesting that this top group, Joseph Causey in the 88 and Jeremy Miller in the 30, have not decided to come down. I don't know if they're trying to get the teammates down as well, Matt Wright and RJ Root, but so far they're hitting that top line and they're very comfortable with it. But here comes RJ Root down the middle. He's going to see if he can pull somebody out of line. Nothing doing there. He's going to pop back up.
He thought about it.
Definitely, and I think if he would have had the run, he would have gone for it, but side drafting that top side would not have helped out as much as he would have thought there as he backs out of it. He does have the backup. Ryan Samuelson's there.
Here we go, 3 wide for the race lead right now. Here's a 48 going down to the middle. Matt White trying a move right there. Nothing doing on the 88. 88 tries to come down to the middle. Nothing for him there. Not enough space to get down. Jeremy Miller holds on to the lead, but that 88 of Joseph Causey is dropping like a rock right now. He's up into the wall, coming up off of 2, trying to get space.
Yeah, as we got somebody else got forgotten there. It looked like Jeremy Miller in the 30 machine. He got pushed to the middle. And Matt White going to get on there with RJ Root and Ryan Samuelson in tow. Bottom line, Joseph Lester, Zach Rinker still working down there. Nobody challenged there yet. And it seems like we've got a break. We've got a break in the action here. First to 19th, Leo Bonacasa is the last link in this chain, and then Joe Stafford, Siva Cornez, Matt Gaskins, and a couple other folks have decided to kind of take a break and be mid-pack. Alex Princeton and some other folks, Charles Eaton, Ken Ron, they have been hanging out in the very, very back. So about a 9-second gap between them and the leader. I think they think it's going to get a little more dicey coming up to lap number 12. I think we're probably going to get, what, 25 laps out of a run, 25 or 30?
Between there, I believe these guys run less than full fuel tank. So
Definitely.
we're not going to see that 38 to 40 lap run that you maybe saw in the Cup Series here. I think this is going to probably be a 3-stop type of race. And well, I don't know. It might be a little bit different if you're not leading the race, but I'm leaning towards a 3-stop. And as we get to about lap 12, you're probably about halfway through your fuel run. Maybe start to try to figure out who you might want to work with when it comes to getting off pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. As these drivers really trying to work and find out who they want to work with versus who they don't. And I think that's one of the things we saw up there a couple laps ago. Once Joseph Lester was on that bottom line, a lot of folks were deciding, hey, I'm going to stay on this top line for a little bit longer, bring this line up, and then take that advantage. As Joseph now not moved, but he's back to 7 in that line.
We even saw that in the NASCAR Cup Series race today, where that middle line was dominant. When you got that were working together in that middle lane, you've got a little bit less friction from running a higher line, having to turn a little bit less. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but we saw that middle lane working well in the Cup Series, and we saw it working well here throughout the course of this Sunday night NASCAR race. And obviously, those top 6 or 7 have dropped down in front of Joseph Lester, who was leading that inside lane. And we've got a lot of single file action going on right now. As you see, the 30 is trying to find a spot in line. Jeremy Miller led a lot, or was up front of the line for a lot of the early portion of this race, but he's falling back as everybody else gets single file throughout the top 16. And
yeah, absolutely. Still trying to find a way in. He has not. Joe Stafford, he's plugging away. He's got Siva Cornez. These guys have worked well together over time. Joe, of course, one of both of these guys in this league. And I started calling it 2 seasons ago. But right
Siva
now,
Cornez, a longtime member here, and yeah, of course, Joe Stafford is as well. And Stafford's doing everything he needs to do. He's staying just close enough to the back end of that draft of the lead pack to keep those guys behind him with it, but he's not getting close enough as to where if something happens, he's in trouble. You know, he's going to be able to get up top and out of the way of Steve Cornez and the 79 RC Cola car there. And, you know, if something happens, he's going to be able to get out of the way. Well, ideally, that's the way he's setting it up. But you see a little bit of separation up here where the top 10 is, or the top 9 rather, is separated by about 10 car lengths from the next 4. And got a little bit of breaking apart here in the lead packs. We've got the top 9 running side by side, 3 up top, 6 on the bottom. You got 4 behind them, 5 in a small pack right behind them, and then obviously the 4-car pack that we talked about with Joe Stafford, Steve Cornez, that 79 of Matt Gaskins and Jeff Carson sitting right at the back end of that, just biding their time right there. And a lap car that's staying up top, not going to play any issue here. As Joseph Lester working that middle lane right now. We've got a lot more cars on the outside than the inside, and that second pack has caught up. Joseph Lester with a massive push from that 09 car. Going to lead this lap. Zach Rinker trying to do everything. Oh, we got one sideways getting down into turn number 1. The 81 still trying to save it. Locks up the brakes, manages to not come up in front of the rest of the field there. A tough break for Ryan Samuelson right there. He sits in 23rd place right now after that moment, but we do stay green. Not entirely sure what happened with him there. It might have been a bad bit of contact that got him sideways down the front stretch coming up out of the tri-oval, but Ryan Samuelson with what looks to be an excellent recovery is going to hope to try to get into the draft of this pack and hold on to the lead lap.
Looks like he might be just a little bit too slow there. Very possibly. There he goes. 180, 182. Maybe going to sniff in it, but not much. But that's going to hurt the bottom line because that's where he was. He was with the teammates of Matt White. And let me make sure I don't put anything on anybody's name. Fieldfiller Racing, of course, Alex Murray, Jeremy Miller, all those guys, and RJ Root. But right now it seems like those Moneyhouse Racing guys. That's gonna be Austin Story, Joseph Lester, Zach Rinker, and the one of Josh Port. Those guys trying to work together again and get those Toyotas where they need to be. But so far, seems like Matt White has this thing. Has the most friends right now in RJ Root and Alex Murray.
Totally. It looks like that 48, the 8, and the 40 are all working together on that inside lane. They are not even thinking about leaving each other. You see Joseph Lester with a big push from the 09 trying to make a move up top. These guys have been together from, well, they haven't left each other since they got together. And you see that outside lane, 6 cars up there trying to make a big run up there. And Joseph Lester really hoping that push from the 09 is what he needs. But like you said, Matt White is in control of this race right now. He holds on to the lead over Raymond Root. RJ Root sitting here. We know he's a strong contender in this series. Got a couple wins this year. And you got Alex Murray right behind him, sitting in 3rd, our winningest driver of the season with 11 wins in 28 starts. You know this guy knows how to get it done. And obviously we're approaching 20 laps complete here. It's early, but you know Alex Murray is going to be setting himself up, trying to get himself in the right position to win, and especially as we've only got, seems to be 10 to 11 cars up in this lead pack. If we don't get a caution, that's just going to play into his factor with play into his hand with the factor of track position.
Definitely, as we have a couple more shout-outs in here. Of course, Cali H says, let's go Nolan. That is Nolan Hodgson. Another young gun in this league that is working on trying to make it into the round of 8. And he's really good at the Roval, so and doing really well on points is the 54 of Nolan Hodgson. And we got another shout-out, of course, for Lester. Not in the playoffs, but coming out here and driving anyways for the teammates. And always hunting a win is Joseph Lester. He's always out here hustling and bustling. He's kind of doesn't care how he gets them. He wants the wins. He's young and he's hungry, and we'll see that coming out through the rest of this race. He wants to be out front. He wants to be leading, kind of making those statements. But that's going to do it for us for the first half of this broadcast, folks, or the first quarter. We're going to go ahead and run a commercial, pay some bills. If we haven't already, guys, be sure we hit that like button. Oh, never mind.
We've got a
Disregard.
caution on the racetrack. A crash has happened in turns 3 and 4. We'll take a moment away from that commercial break as you see Chris Claude coming down to the inside. There was a blue car caught up in that. That looks to be the 14 of Seba Cornez. And oh, more traffic coming through. Just barely able to get around Seba Cornez there. That's definitely a tough spot to be in. But our first caution of the day comes out on lap number 22. Chris Claude and Seba Cornez have an incident in turns 3 and 4.
What was going on there? Let's take a look.
Well, you see the 14 is in front of the 10. I wonder if maybe the 14 made contact. Yes, they did. And, the 91 with nowhere to go there gets caught up in the middle of that sandwich. Heavy damage to that car, and we didn't see him because he was up next to the inside wall. It looks like he got beached pretty good and had to take a tow to the pit lane. But contact between the 13 and 14 getting down into turn number 3 brings out our first caution of the day. Turn Seba Cornez sideways. Chris Claude nowhere to go along with the 91 there. 3 cars taken out here.
I don't think Chris has any wheel there. I don't know if he may have been
experiencing
a little bit of loss of consciousness after that one or what, because that was
I thought I saw a right front that was not moving in line with the way the car should be, but we'll take another look here, and that's the beauty of these cameras with these next gen cars. We got these broken toe links, and you can see exactly what happens. Seba Cornez, no way to react, no time to react, and yeah, it looks like that left front is already locked up, turned completely to the left, and I would just imagine that right front on Chris Claude's car is going to be damaged after that wall contact. We got pit stops here. We'll let you know who wins the race off pit road, and then we'll send it to our partners so that I can buy new pants.
it looks like Matt White going to get out first. Everybody else trying to get out there, but definitely an opportune time to come down pit road, but that absolutely hurts for Chris Claude. Let's go ahead. I think he's going to be out of it. So Chris, coming out of the infield care center, how's the car looking?
I don't even know yet. I haven't finished towing, but I can't imagine it's going to be too good. Looks like a probably broken toe link or something's what it felt like.
Yeah, kind of walk us through what happened there. Obviously, it was a real, a quick, like a bang play there. You didn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, I should have stayed low, and I was trying to. We felt like that maybe the cars that were on the bottom line were not going as fast as what we'd like. So I was trying to get in line with the top line to get around them, and it looked like that one of the cars was not clear and came up into me along with a couple other cars and knocked me into the wall.
Well, Chris, while we have you here, I just want to ask, what's your fuel window look like throughout the course of this race? Obviously, you're sitting on pit lane, but what were you guys looking at for the viewers?
I honestly, I don't even know if we got to that point. I had about 10 laps left before I had to come in and pit. We hadn't even really got to that point yet, but let's see. I would imagine it's probably 30, low 30s on the full fuel window.
Well, Chris, before we let you go, man, just tell us who you want to shout out, who gets it done for the 10 car as we head into the Roval, as we can hopefully get you out there for some more laps.
Well, as always, I appreciate my teammates at Joe Gibbs and Preen that I have on the car, and appreciate their product and their support, and also just everybody watching, my parents, and just all the support that I have every week. And I'll come back out as soon as the car is repaired, and I'll get the best finish that I can. Try to, just recover.
Definitely. Well, good luck, brother. Hopefully you can get some work on that machine and get it figured out, sir.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Sure.
Right, so
Well, yeah,
that was Mr. Claude, the owner here at Sunday Night NASCAR. Very unfortunate with that, but we do have the one to go. Matt White, RJ Root, Alex Murray, Zenola Collins, and Joseph Lester, your top 5. Before we get going here, though, I do want to shout out, I think we're coming out of 2. Look at this number 11. Well, it used to be the Cheetos machine. Not so much anymore. Oh, it still is. Yeah, we got the 11 Cheetos machine. Made sure to reach out to us and tell us that it is his mother's birthday. I believe it was Brenda. So Miss Brenda, let me make sure before I get that out there. Yes, Brenda Jones, happy birthday. I know it was your birthday yesterday, but happy birthday. And Lauren is just very happy to have you on board watching as a fan today.
Absolutely. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you watching, and everybody else who's tuning in as well. Happy birthday once again. No, Lauren is he's pretty pleased to have you around, but everybody else tuning in, we've got looks like 19 people, 20 people live on YouTube tuning in. We've seen a lot of people jumping in with their favorite drivers here. A lot of chats for Lester, a lot of chats for Propel, Nolan Hodgson, Alex Murray, even get some chats up in there too. So go ahead and drop who your favorite is. We are live on Facebook as well. So if you're tuning in on Facebook, we appreciate that. Go ahead and drop in the chat who you're rooting for as the pace car makes that hard left turn. It's a long left turn here. He makes that hard left turn, but then cruises into the pits, and we've got to wait throughout the whole tri-oval for the Geico restart zone.
And why is that, Liam?
Well, to quote Dr. Jerry Punch, remember the start-finish line is here. No, the start-finish line, obviously, towards turn 1 here after the tri-oval here. Green flag out in the air.
Bad start on the outside lane.
Oh, yes! And we've got a crash. The 36 goes sideways. Some more contact behind him. Lauren Jones was also involved. The 63 you see backwards there. That's a tough break for him, but we'll take a look here and see what happened here. But I'm hearing reports of driver chat talking about black flags being issued, and the 75 didn't go. 81 jumps down to the inside and turns the 36.
That was an uncharacteristic mistake from. This is where I saw it. Outside line didn't go. I mean that didn't happen, but
I'm not sure who didn't go. I saw the 75 obviously slow there and people moving to his. Oh, the 57 Joe Stafford. Potentially missed a shift or something. I'm not sure why he wouldn't have been able to go there, but maybe he missed a shift. Everybody checked up behind him, and well, that's a tough break. That's 3-4 cars that unfortunately got torn up. We'll see. Yep. Unable to get out of second gear. So yeah, listen, he restarts in second.
wow, a very rare miss from the 57.
And I tell you what, I
caused a lot of folks some issues.
Absolutely, it did. But I've been in the spot where I run C fixed, B fixed. I've got an H pattern shifter, and so when I find myself in a spot where I'm using my sequential, you do have to blip these cars. You've got to try to find the right rev zone, and I wonder if maybe he just got. Well, you see a bit of a checkup up front, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and
09.
He's not the only one. I think you're right there. I don't think that was.
No, I think
it wasn't because of it was concurrent to.
I think Joe Stafford struggled to get out of second there, and that caused a little bit of problems behind him. Obviously, we know Joe Stafford is, he's a good driver.
Defending season champ. So the 57 is a defending season champ. He's a great driver. I'm not
Yeah, he's
causing
sitting
anybody
second place in
anything.
points. He's got 3 wins on the season, 11 top fives, and I mean we're not
Just
trying to dog him.
unfortunate.
Just one of those deals. Like I said, I've personally found myself in spots where I missed the revs on a shift up, and it hurts. So I'm assuming that's maybe what happened, but obviously I'm not in the race car. I'm just speculating, and that's really what we should.
Well, on that great note, we'll go ahead and run to ads real quick so you guys can give these guys a little bit more time to pace around and think about it as we are on lap 27 of 94, coming back lap 29. Stick around.
We'll treat your home like it's our. Davis Brothers has been providing homeowners and businesses with exceptional roofing services since 1983. From repairing roofs on small homes to installing new roofs on large commercial retailers, no job is too big or too small. Your home is an important part of your life, and your roof is an essential part of your home. We understand that. Whether you're inspecting, repairing, or replacing your roof, we'll treat your home like it's our very own. Low slope, steep slope, big or small, it doesn't matter, we do them all. And remember, we have the capabilities and the manpower to take on any size job. When it comes to your roof, it's important to be proactive. Choose an experienced roofer you can trust. At Davis Brothers Roofing, we are your experienced roofer. Contact us today for a consultation and let us earn your trust.
All right, folks, we are back. Appreciate you sticking around with us. So, Liam, while we were gone, just getting ready here, it's going to be crazy. We talked about it just now. You've got to be careful. Nothing is taken for granted here at Talladega, and I'm sure 3 or 4 of those drivers that just involved in that wreck can attest to that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talked about going 20-some laps, green flag to start this race. We had a little bit of a checked-up restart there that got a couple of guys some damage. We saw the 36 get sideways, and some other guys get caught up in that. But we've got ourselves another restart here, getting ready to re-rack. Joseph Lester leads him down through the trioval, getting ready for the Geico restart zone. Once again, appreciate everybody tuning in live on Facebook and YouTube. Green flag is back out in the air, and a nice jump there for Lester. He's going to get a couple car legs over the side-by-side battle for second. We look back at the pack to make sure everybody gets through good, and they do. The top 6, top 7 almost getting single file up on that top side. Look at Joseph Lester holding on to the lead, blocking that one car right there, right behind him. That's Josh Ward giving a big push on the back straightaway. The 45, Leo Bonacasa, Zach Rinker, Nolan Hodgson, who we've seen some people rooting for in the chat.
And you can't do that unless you have 4 teammates behind you. Jumping out to Links at Talladega, there's no such thing as a good jump at Talladega unless you're on the outside line, because that is just, it is very bad news bears to give the advantage to the guy behind you like that. But something to keep an eye on here. Top 10 did not come around last time. Everybody else decided to come down pit road and at least get some fuel to get them that extra 3-4 laps. I think what they're thinking is, like Chris said, 30 lap run. Something that's going to help you out here at getting all the laps you can, because that's about 10 miles of racing. Those 4 laps. So
it sure is, but
helping them out.
Like Chris had mentioned, we're looking at about 30 to 32 laps on a tank of gas. He ran 22 laps. He said he had about 10 laps of gas left before that crash happened that he got caught up in. And so that leads me to believe 32 is probably how far these guys can go, and a caution at lap 20 is not going to take a pit stop away from that. They've still got 2 pit stops to worry about here over the course of 70 laps. And, well, if somebody's going to try to make it a one-stopper, they've got to start trying now.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not going to be... actually, well, you know, it could be pretty close.
It could be
get
close.
That 32 out of it.
If you get 32, I'm not a crew chief. I sit behind the wheel of the car or up at the broadcast booth, so I don't know for sure. I would say 32 is close enough to 35. We can maybe try it, but 70 laps on 1 pit stop is going to be a tough ask for these guys, as you see them already getting back to single file. You've got a nice second pack going side by side there, about 12 cars trying to figure out positions here, but the top 13, it looks like, all sitting single file for the most part. Just as I say that, we see a couple moving down to the bottom.
It's a good thing about having teammates, right? Joseph Lester has a lot of teammates in Money House. So Money House Racing and Propel are working together. Of course, Money House is the Austin story. I believe it is owned by, and I could be very wrong here, folks, but Leo Bonacasa, I believe, is the owner of that Money House Racing team. And Propel, excuse me, is Joe Stafford and his group. So those two deciding to team up. Or this,
right up in front of Austin Story there, sorry. 89 just slid up a bit coming up off turn number 4, right up in front of Story. Story had to let off just a bit.
Oh,
crash!
There it is. Look at the 9. Jeff Carson. I think green flag's going to stay out here. That happened at the very back of the field.
It did. Both guys got off of the racetrack. Nobody got fully sideways, so I don't think we'll see a caution there with that one, but definitely a sketchy moment for those guys getting down the front straightaway. Yes, we do indeed stay green. You can see the caution lights, or the track lights on the side staying green, but a broken right front toe link there. You see that wheel turn to the right there on the 22. Very tough break for him. And sorry, that's Chad Sanner there in the 59. Tough break for him, trying to get back to the pits safely, but obviously you see that right front turn up, unable to get that turn completed. See Chad Sanner getting down to the inside, going to the pit lane. Most of the other cars involved don't seem to be making that move. Randy Spivey seems to be staying out on the racetrack, and Jeff Carson as well. Nope. Just double checking here with my notes. Yep, looks like Chad Sanner was the only one to come into pit, but look at that run from the inside. That's the 30. With a huge push out of the 88, the 30, Jeremy Miller, with a huge push from Joseph Cossie. Trying to make that inside lane work its way down to the inside, to the race lead, rather. But Joseph Lester with an absolutely huge push out of Josh Ward. We talk about Josh Ward. He's in the bubble right now, currently sitting in 10th place. Had a bad race last weekend, lost 5 spots in the playoff bubble, but he's only sitting 5 points out of the top 8. So Josh Ward hoping for a great day here. He's sitting in the second position on the outside lane. As you see a little bit of a move there, down below the yellow line goes the 88. Try to get a little bit of air to his nose and also try not to wreck the 30 in front of him. The 88, Joseph Cossi, doing everything he can to give the biggest push, but saw a little bit of a sketchy moment there down the back straightaway. Getting close to side-by-side for the race lead through the tri-oval. Joseph Lester still holds on, leads that lap. Josh Ward is not letting off of that rear bumper. You see the 45, Leo Bonacasa right behind. Also trying to get a little bit of air to the nose, but Leo is doing a great job pushing in third place. You never want to push the pusher, but you want to try to set up the pusher with as little drag as possible so you can push him up to the front car. And we're seeing the outside lane really work that draft a lot better than the inside right now. And just as I say that, there's the 30 with a nice run through the inside of 3 and 4. Doing everything he can to keep that 88 right behind him.
It's the
Right there up there.
time in the race where 37 lap, 94 down. Don't want to be too crazy here, and that's what we're seeing. People want to get up there and lead, but right now people are working together. They're singing Kumbaya, everybody having a good time, as we see Lauren Jones unfortunately having to take the bottom lane there. But right now, hey, we're good. Everybody, top line, bottom line doing well, but here's some guys that aren't too happy. Matt Gaskins and Seba Cornez, these guys trying to get up to the front and unfortunately just lost the momentum and trying to figure it out.
Sitting about 6.5 seconds from the pack right now. They're holding steady with it. That might have to do with the slow car right in front of them, but that car staying up top. Seba Cornez all over the back bumper of Matt Gaskins, doing everything he can to try to get back up there, but it's tough. These guys are losing time to the lead pack. You've got a lot more cars lined up. Well, even the double wide isn't going to help these guys right now. As you see Joseph Lester, another huge push from the one of Josh Ward. Lester has been sideways coming up off of these corners, and I think that's probably due to Josh Ward pushing, but Josh Ward doing an excellent job there, getting right up on the back bumper and pushing that outside lane up into the lead. As you see now, Jeremy Miller in the 30, the inside lane finally trying to work it together. Joseph Lester with a huge push from the one, once again, is going to give him this lap lead, but this is the furthest up front we've seen that inside lane since we restarted. You see that car coming up off the pit lane there. Stays out of the way. And now, once again, the inside lane. 2 cars clear now. Jeremy Miller is your leader. Joseph Cossi in second. And the 75, Charles Eaton, is clear if he wants to get up. Joseph Lester with another big push from that one car, trying to get back up top. And this is where you see these runs kind of coming together and stopping. You saw how the 88 got right up to the back bumper of the 30 and had to kind of lift a little bit before he run into him. And that just compounds. You're sitting behind other cars. You know, you can't push somebody through. You can't push somebody forward. Joseph Lester again with a huge push, gonna go ahead and lead this lap once again.
Yeah, I think if Joseph Lester, he's looking at the one and he's thinking, man, if I was driving that one car, this is exactly what I would want it to be doing, is pushing the 18 all the way around this racetrack. And they are working close. I mean, as if just one brain there in those machines working together. And of course, Leo Bonacasa, another teammate back there, very happy and content to just stay in line. And that's what's keeping this top line in it, because generally what you'd see if these guys weren't all teammates, you'd see those top onesies and twosies drop down to the bottom to try and kill that momentum down there, and try and kind of take some of that and give and take. But Not now. These guys, these teammates, just ready and committed, staying together on the top line.
But at the same time, obviously you mentioned teammates, you've got to have help in these situations. But I watched the Cup race earlier today, and I saw how that middle lane was more dominant than the inside lane. Those guys just got to let up a little bit more. They've got to turn a little bit more. Slows them down just enough is where that middle to outside lane is going to be beneficial. And we even talked about it at the beginning of the race. Not a whole heck of a lot of side drive happening there with the outside lane, but still able to make momentum happen. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a valiant effort there from 30 and the 09 and the 88 on the inside, but I feel like that outside lane is just kind of where you want to be right now. You see almost a move to the top side, the one trying to get a little bit of air to the front bumper of that thing, Josh Ford. Poking out behind Joseph Lester, but those guys still rocking the outside, holding on to the lead. Leo Bonacasa sitting third on the outside. Joseph Kazi doing his best to give a good old push and move down the back straightaway. The outside gets a little bit separated, and Joseph right up on the back bumper of that number 30, getting down into turn 3. They're going to get clear. 1 and 2 on the inside are clear. Did they try to get up and block the 18, that Waffle House Camry of Joseph Lester? We'll see coming up out of turn number 4 if the 1 is able to get right up on that back bumper and push Joseph to the lead again. Joseph, no, will not lead this lap. Jeremy Miller is going to lead lap number 42. And I tell you what, we've had ourselves a blast of a race so far, but we're approaching halfway. We're about 5 laps away. And, well, this thing has flown by so far, as you see Jeremy Miller holding on to the race lead there on the inside.
As we're getting one thing to remember, this top line, all those teammates from Propel Money House, they are going to dive down there. They were the ones that stayed out last time around, so 4 laps difference on field there. As I hope they did not just burn Josh Ward. Oh, okay. Leo Bonacasa gonna let him back in. Boy, that would have been a happy do for all the
only
pushing
Chevy up in that top group. I gotta say, I kind of thought they might have left him out hanging there, not being a Toyota.
Yeah, that is Leo Bonacasa teammates with him as well as Joe Lester. So I was gonna fight for him if they would have left him out there, because he had absolutely done the heavy lifting, so to speak, up until that point. But there we go. So yes, some drivers going a lap down. That's Randy Spivey. Well, I believe that's Wyatt Fink going down the lap. But Jeremy Miller
involved in that bit of contact going down into turn number 1. Got some repairs done, trying to get back up into this lead pack so he can get a free pass before the end of this thing. Like I said, we're not quite to halfway yet, so that's not out of the realm of possibility, especially when we've got what looks to be 2 more green flag pit stops coming.
Definitely. Well, let's go ahead and run through. Excuse me. Right now, we're gonna run through who is in your playoffs, and that's they of course they're blue up top, but I want to go through and kind of do a check-in on where everyone is at that is in those playoffs. So, of course, first in the playoff standings, Alex Murray. He has so many bonus points from winning races that his bonus points have bonus points. This guy is 51 points ahead of Joseph Stafford with 11 wins, 20 top 5s, and 22 top 10s on this season. He had an insane amount of points, 218 bonus points, I think, maybe even more. But and then, of course, Joseph Stafford following not too far behind, 58 points back, which he has been making some moves. Currently running 15th in the race. Of course, then we have RJ Root Raymond, as he's affectionately known when our SDK doesn't want to work correctly. He's currently running 4th, but he's about 53 points back from the teammate Alex Murray. Then Matt White. Matt White, I believe he won the race last week in Texas that we were unable to broadcast. We had some technical issues there. He's currently running 16th, but he has locked himself in. He's not worried about it. We have Ryan Samuelson, and you can fact check that and correct me if I'm wrong, William, on last week, the Texas standings. But Ryan Samuelson, there he is in 5th, about 63 points back. on the lead. And then, of course, we have Nolan Hodgson, one of the ones we always like to talk about, fan favorite, dare I say, here. And he's got the Friday night football picture up there. Love to see that. He is currently in 6th place in the playoffs, so very comfortable there. Jeremy Miller, the other one that is in 7th. He's currently leading this thing, so he's got the McLovin. I went in and talked to him after the race a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Isn't that McLovin picture just the funniest thing he ever seen?" And Liam, I'd have to say that maybe I'm too old. I think that was the moment I realized I was an old person.
I'm not going to lie, I missed a little bit. Jumping back to what I believe was last week, Matt White did get the checker flags, 172 laps at Texas. Matt
There
White.
you go. It's a question I was asking,
But,
and I'll go ahead and pose this to the chat as well. Jeremy
Yes, by all
Miller,
means.
if you notice his picture, that's not him, I'm told. That is McLovin from the movie Old School. Not
Oh.
Old School. Not Old School.
Not old school. That's
Oh boy.
super bad.
Super bad. My wife screams from the living room. That's hilarious. Yes, super bad. I thought I'm old. That is the moment I said, I don't know if I think that's funny. So chat, you tell me if it's funny, and we'll let the chat decide. Am I old? Is that funny that he's got the super bad picture there of McLovin?
No, I think that's hilarious. I love that you're keeping it on there. That's
Here we go.
that is hilarious out of Jeremy Miller here. He's sitting here leading the race. He's trying to get some McLovin with that Talladega start finish line, that checkered flag there. He's got the 88 giving him a good push, and you see that top 5. We've got some pit stops happening.
Yep, so we'll
A lot of guys
come
coming into the
back
pits.
on that.
Nicholas Breitenbach, Nolan Hodgson, Josh Ward, Zach Rigger, Matt White, all coming to the pits this time. There's probably 10 guys up on the pits as we see this race up off of pit road here. A lot of congestion there. The 48, Matt White, has some problems, and now he's taking right side tires. So he's going to miss the exit of the pits, or at least miss the pack that leaves with him, and he's going to lose some unfortunate time. That's going to be a huge loss to him as you see the rest of the field coming up through that 30 car, coming around with a huge push from the 88. Coming to lap this pack, and I don't think that's going to be enough momentum for the 48 Matt White to be able to stay with this pack here.
No, not at all. But hopefully, and of course Talladega, it's one of the longer tracks. They're going to have the opportunity to come out and get up to speed. I don't think that we're going to have to worry about going a lap down if you're Joseph Lester, as long as you're not fighting each other here. But that's something you got to watch out for if you're here. Got to watch out for these pit stops, and entering at Talladega, you have a ton of space, but it is a little bit sooner than Daytona, so a little bit more of an abrupt left, as we saw some folks having trouble down pit road IRL. I mean, if you're Haley Deegan's rear tire
We don't
changer,
talk about that. We
hate
don't
it.
talk about that.
Hate that for him. Hopefully he's back on his feet. So
I don't hate it for him, James. He made a bad call.
I think he almost got hit by a car.
He ran
15
30
seconds before that bad call, but we'll talk about that in the podcast. Anyways,
Yeah, hate to get too real, but anytime a pit crew member runs 30 feet from a live track, I cannot be for it.
no,
Safety
not at
is just got to be the number one thing in these things, and but he just had a lapse of judgment. I don't fault him, but it's just one of those bad deals. But we've got ourselves a great deal. 8 cars up here in the lead pack right now. These guys sitting out here have not made a pit stop since the lap 22 caution. A couple of these guys came in on the restart crash that occurred, came in to top off, but most of these guys are working on 25 plus, almost 30 laps for some of these guys on fuel. So be interesting to see when pit stops start to happen. 51 laps complete. We've got 43 to go, I believe. You can't make it on one more stop from here. But if you set yourself up right, you can take minimal gas to try to gain time on track. So
Yeah, I kind of hope for a caution there because you're going to have to come back in. But back to where we were as far as where Seba Cornez was the other driver who just came down on his own. That's not going to be great, but he is currently in 8th position of the playoffs, running 24th here at Talladega.
Hearing some of the leaders talking. They're coming in this time by. It'll be interesting to see if everybody comes in or if it's just a few. Not totally sure whose radio I heard, but I heard a couple of them saying, coming this time by, coming with you. So, got a chance for more green flag pit stops. The top 9 still together under a blanket here, but coming through 3 and 4, we'll see who pulls off to make that green flag pit stop.
Sound is, I heard a lot of voices. There we go. Everybody.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody's coming in. No lockups, no big smoke. We've got some sketchy moments there with Ryan Samuelson almost getting into the back of the 8, but gets her down. I don't think he's going to have a penalty there, but we'll see what these guys do on the pit lane here. I would expect mostly fuel only, but Matt Gaskin's also coming into the pits here with Zendla Collins, Dave Regal not far behind there, and I believe Corey Burkett also coming into the pits behind these guys. Warren Jones trying to take advantage of these guys coming into pits, stay with some draft, maybe get a lap back a little bit later. But here's Austin Story coming through 3 and 4. We'll see Jeremy Miller's probably not going to have the momentum to keep that behind him. No chance. Look at that run from Austin Story.
Those are all Money House guys and Propel guys. Get a huge run. They worked together. They didn't want to leave anything up to chance. They also took about 2 seconds less on pit road. It looks like these guys took right sides. 12, 13 seconds pit stops. That is not going to help you out here if you're trying to stay with that lead pack. And now is the Money House Propel show here on lap 54 of the playoff race at Dega. We're going to go ahead at that moment, and we're going to let you guys go for just a brief second to pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
There's a new approach to lawn care, Preen 1 Lawn Care. Preen 1 does away with the hassle of multiple bags of different products. It has everything you need for a beautiful lawn in one bag. And all it takes is one application. For season-long weed control and feeding, apply the granules when the lawn is wet and weeds are actively growing. It blocks crabgrass all season. It prevents crabgrass seeds from growing. It kills the seedlings too, even when applied 4 weeks after they sprout. It's your best defense against tough weeds like dandelion, chickweed, henbit, and hundreds more. Plus, its slow-release formula feeds the lawn evenly for months to build stronger roots for maximum heat and drought resistance. Preen 1 delivers convenience and better performance in one package with one application. Spend more time enjoying your lawn and less time working on it. Preen 1, and it's done. It's a lawn dream come true.
Back here at Talladega, Austin Story holds on to the race lead. Zach Brinker with a huge push. Nolan Hodgson not far behind here. James and Liam up in the booth here. Just past, well, a little past halfway. We've got less than 40 laps to go here at Talladega. We've got a 6-car pack up in the lead, a 7th trying to stay with it. And a lot more racing action to bring you here.
Absolutely, and here we are, lap 58, and if nothing changes, which it certainly will, Liam, but right now the move of the race was Money House and Propel coming down. Austin Story, Zach Brinker, Nolan Hodgson, Josh Ward, Stafford, and Lester all coming down, and then immediately getting out, getting on their horse, but staying together, lined up, them 5 seconds ahead of the leader, Jeremy Miller, Joseph Cossey, and RJ Root last time around. So that's huge, and they're gaining time. They are more organized. They're better ran right now. RJ, Miller, and Cossey are just hoping that Breidenbach can get this group up there and they can kind of team up together.
That's their only hope right now. You've got 6 cars up front in a single file line right now, doing absolutely everything they can to limit the drag of what they've got going on. And a 3-car pack just isn't going to be able to compete. You've got 5 cars behind them. You get those guys together, they might be able to, and especially if things start getting side by side up front. But like you said, this is Money House Racing. This is Propel. These guys made this move together. They choreographed this, and they're sitting up front with 6 guys, hoping that at least one of them gets the checker flag.
Definitely, and I do want to talk about, just to finish out eventually, what I was saying here. Of course, Josh Ward, one of those. He is in 11th position. He's pretty far, pretty far from the cut line to the round of 8. But hopefully he can have a good one. Charles Eaton. Like Charles sitting there in 12th. And of course, the heartbreak. I don't think Chris Cloud is going to make it out. He's still sitting in pit road, possibly helping out some drivers on his team with some spotting, but he is out of the race so far. On his lap 20 and Asiba, and I believe it was the 9 Zachary Fawn. So very unfortunate there. Could be throwing dirt on Zach to do that. But
Zach was caught up in that crash. He had nowhere to go. It was just the 13 and 14 getting together up on a corner. Yeah, just had a couple guys up top with nowhere to go, and ended up being a bad deal for them. Happy to see the 91 back out onto the racetrack, and obviously trying to stay with this draft, but definitely a tough break for Chris Quad. He puts a lot of work into this, and Talladega is one of the tracks he looks forward to, and he was hoping for a good show here today. But like you said, he's probably jumped up in spotting for a teammate here, and as soon as he takes off the driver role, he puts on the owner's cap, and he's working with his team to try to get a victory.
Absolutely. So Austin Story, that's the story right now. Zachary Vaughn just crashed. Not sure what happened there. Take a look and see if our cameras caught anything.
Tough break for the 91 as we were just talking him up. It just seems like a little bit of lag. Maybe that's on my end. I don't know if you get to see the good stuff here, but
maybe just waving the white flag of surrender out there and saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm done for now. Take it in there and count the points and go to the house.
I'm with you guys watching it on Facebook there. My computer glitched out for a moment, but yeah, the 91 decided I'm going to pull off here, maybe try to help out my team or something, but decided this was not the race to go for. Once again, we've got 7 cars up in this lead pack right now with just over 60 laps complete, 62 laps complete this time by, which means 32 laps to go. One more pit stop coming up for these guys, and we know the MHR guys have worked well together. These Propel guys, they've propelled themselves very far in front of the pack, but you still got one more pit stop coming up. You got to make sure it's perfect. And 4.5 seconds might not be enough for that, as you see Joseph Cossey pushing all over the back bumper of Jeremy Miller, a familiar sight from earlier before. These guys doing everything they can to try to catch up to the race lead. And I tell you what, it looks like they are.
By about a half second
that last time around. Yep. These guys are working well together. They might have a little bit of tow from the pack in front of them, but you've got 7 cars, 8 cars here, single file, doing everything that the lead pack in front of them is doing. no side-by-side to slow you down. These guys are working well together as we approach 30 laps to go. Like I said, we've got one pit stop coming up for these guys, and it's taken almost 15 laps for this second group to catch back up to the first. So is that something that the first group is going to try to keep in mind as it comes up to that last pit stop? And another quick question here, James, says who took tires, who didn't? Do tires matter?
Absolutely. They give you, a lot of people will argue that tires don't matter at a super speedway, but those people haven't had to move around in the draft and get up and move. That's one thing where they really come into play is using those tires on that left-right kind of that plane that these drivers aren't used to using, and that's cutting left and right and making sure this thing turns when you want it to. And you're gonna find you are a little bit quicker, and as evidenced by what we're seeing here, is Kossi is almost with Miller. They're about 3.5 seconds back from Stafford, and once they get to about the 2-second mark, they're gonna close the gap very, very quickly, and this front line is going to decide if they want to stay together or branch apart and stop a run.
Absolutely correct, James. Just want to take a quick moment, double checking on the YouTube chat. We've got 21 people live with us tuning in to the last 30 laps of this race. This is great stuff. I see a chat from Mayor shooting Joseph Lester, and also number 57. And we've got a Gail Ream is rooting for Nolan Hodgson here, so definitely appreciate everybody up in the chat, dropping their favorite drivers. We'll definitely do our best to get the guys up on screen that you're rooting for, and we're keeping an eye on the chats. But we've got a great race to keep an eye on right now as you look through the front bumper here, looking towards Zach Rinker, who has been all over the back bumper of Austin Story. But we're riding with Nolan Hodgson, who's just trying to figure out when is the right time to make a move. We've got a lot of time left and still another pit stop, but you can even see Nolan Hodgson looking up top, and now there goes the inside. Austin Story moves up. Zach Rinker to the inside, takes the race lead. Not sure if Austin Story maybe had a problem. Not sure why he jumped up there, but he jumps back down into this pack. Maybe the 09 was getting hot and they were on communications together.
Yeah, I believe it was most likely Austin Story. Of course, like I said, these guys are all teammates. One to the other, they don't really care who wins this thing. If anything, if I was these guys, I was team owner, I'm thinking you want to get Josh Ward up there, as that is, let me see here, Ward, and I believe that's it for playoff drivers that actually need it. Joe Stafford doesn't really need a win. He'd love to have one. But Ward, you definitely want to try and get him up there.
He had a bad week last week at Texas, and definitely looking for a recovery here. Like we mentioned, very close to the cut line. Only 9 points separates 12th through 8th. Josh Ward sitting in 10th place, about 5 points away from the 8th place cutoff line. So a good race here and a good race next week puts him into the next round. But as we look into this second pack is actually making huge gains on the first pack. They are less than 2 seconds away, and I believe last time we looked at them, they were about 4 seconds away. They're almost in the draft length. They're almost able to pull a toe there and just pull right up. You got 1 3/4 seconds now, and I tell you what, it'll be about 2 laps before we've got a pack double the size of these guys racing for the lead. As Nolan Hodgson is now your leader. There's one car of Josh Ward looked up top for a moment there, trying to get some air to the nose, but Nolan Hodgson leads the race in that Toyota Camry with a huge push from Josh Ward right behind him. Top 4 getting away from the second group of 2 just a little bit. Austin Story trying to work with Zach Rinker to get back up there, but less than 1.5 seconds separates Zach Rinker from the front bumper of Jeremy Miller. That pack is closing in quickly, and But I tell you what, we're going to see an exciting show when they get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hodgson has done his due diligence working with the team. He's put in his time. Now he is out leading this thing with 25 laps to go. But here's the deal. Everybody's going to have to come down pit road. So if you are Propel, do you want to let fire strike or let lightning strike twice and try and come down pit road right now? Or do you want to wait till Jeremy Miller and them catch you? And I don't know. It's kind of just a mind game right now. I think if you come down and you're Propel right now, maybe you force that second group to get a little more racy and lose some more time. But if they stick together, you've lost your advantage.
Now, I like the strategy that the MHR guys have thrown together. These Propel guys up front. You got some Chevys, some Toyotas up front together. They've figured that strategy out well. You talked about whether or not they want to come in early, but I think the bet has been made. I think this pack has to group up, and then you've got to make your decision after the fact, because these guys are getting just a little bit too close. I don't know. I feel like if you guys try to split up and you mess up, that other pack is going to sail away. But it looks like a lot of guys coming into the pits this time. My call was bad. The second pack comes in. Jeremy Miller leads. Joseph Causey, Charles Eaton, RJ Root, Alex Murray, and Ryan Samuelson coming down to the pits this time.
Somebody hit a cone.
3 laps to go.
Somebody hit a cone. That's going to be unsafe pit entry. I want to say it was possibly RJ Root. I'm not. Maybe the 75 of Charles Eaton. But one thing I was going to say here, and I think somebody got left out to dry. Nicholas Breidenbach there got left out to dry. But one thing I was going to say, this second group that just came down pit road, they were all...
The front group coming into the pits. Toyotas, Chevys, MHR, Propel, all coming to the pit lane this time. Look at that lockup there out of the 54.
But what I was saying was these guys are organized, they're teammates, they're fine on points. That second group that came in the first time, those were all playoff drivers minus Causey, and they were all a couple on the same team, but mostly not. So that's something that they're thinking about, as we'll see where it came out for Causey in the 30. I believe he had issue. Jeremy Miller had issue. He had to come down pit road, or he got held on pit road.
Jeremy Miller out in front of everybody it was seeing.
That's huge for Miller.
Yeah, not entirely sure what transpired to get him such a big lead, but you see that Zach Osborne with the 16 and the 36 right behind him, a couple of lap cars. Zach Osborne obviously leading the race right now, hasn't made a pit stop, but I've got to wonder what happened to give the 30 such a big lead, and is there any chance that he missed his pit stop?
It looks like he was down pit road, but we'll take a look. Have that ability.
Take a double check and look at the pit stop out of the 30 at Jeremy Miller. But if there are no mistakes here, this might be an absolutely picture-perfect strategy call, especially if these cars in front of him can stay in front of him. Locked up big time! Getting down into the corner.
Yeah, I believe he was definitely speeding there.
Oh, okay.
We'll take a look. I mean, on speeding, they're going to get you on a pass-through, I would imagine.
Yeah, speeding is a pass-through under yellow, or under green. Under yellow, it's a tail end. But I'm not sure. He was locked up and looking at the car behind him. He didn't seem to lose, but I don't have access to penalty data right now. So I can't tell you for sure, but you see that 30 car sitting up in this pack. Not pleased with the 36 there. The 36 trying to figure out, well, these guys running side by side, getting away from the cars in front of them. 36 not doing any favors there for Jeremy Miller. Miller trying to hold that bottom lane to stay with the draft, the toe in front of him with that 36 car. Yellow is out. The caution has just come out. We've got a big crash on the back straightaway. Joseph Lester is sideways along with the 19. 49 is involved, and the Oreo truck, or car rather, is involved as well. So the caution has just come out for the third time today. Joseph Lester caught up in it. Zedla Collins is up in there. We saw Jeff Carson with some damage as well. We saw him sideways. The third caution of this race, just after the final round of green flag pit stops. That's going to go ahead and throw a wrench in a lot of people's strategies. Wow, that was a quick thing happening there. The 49 and 18 got together. They both got sent up towards the wall, but it looks like the 18 with no steering just ends up coming down the track and taking out the 09 as well.
This isn't over either.
Huge contact for Jeff Carson there in the 9. A couple other guys getting caught up in that, nowhere to go.
It happened a little bit before this, so we'll take the...
Lester moves up. 49 gets down below him, and the 49 maybe thought he was clear to get behind the 18 and just cut down, and definitely was not clear.
So there you go. That has definitely thrown a wrench in things. I'll let you guys watch it back up. To heck with the...
Yeah, we'll give you a quick real time, and I talk too much. We'll let you make your own opinions.
Ooh, that seemed to be... I don't call these wrecks a 45, a Leo Bonacasa.
Yeah, it looked like Lester had a run coming up into 1 to move to the outside, decided to check out to stay to the inside. He get a shot to the back end. And then buddy! Leo Bonacasa with the heel, man! Like, I don't know, man. He's he might be our all-state good hands driver of the race for that wreck avoidance.
Definitely. Not sure where everybody's at right now. Going live here. A couple folks coming down pit road. Joseph's still down pit road. Let's go ahead and bring in Lester and see kind of what happened there.
We got
hey Joseph,
up in here.
It's James in the booth, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what was going on there?
Zendel Collins has peanut butter in his eyes, and he decides to left hook us so my teammates can't win and got themselves into the playoff. That's all there is.
We noticed how there was a little bit of contact between you guys getting down into turn 1. It looked like you thought about taking a run. You moved up top, and then he run into the back of you. Kind of, I mean, have you guys had any issues before throughout the course of this race? Or
No, he's had a problem with me throughout the whole season. That's all there is to it.
Oh, that definitely stinks to see you get taken out here. Obviously, some emotions there, but you run a pretty good race. That Waffle House Camry was super strong today. I know it's a bad time, but you know, who helped you out? Who do you want to thank? While we got you up in the booth.
I gotta thank TWRS, Josh Ward, and that's about it. Oh, and everybody over at Propel and MHR, Money House Graphics. But yeah, that's about it.
Then hopefully you're able to get back up in there. A tough break for you, but we appreciate you chatting with us, James. I don't know if you've got anything else for him, but
No, and that'll do it. And hopefully talk to him again next week. It looks like he's able to get that thing going. But good news
Yeah,
for your Nolan
if we're
Hodgson
lucky.
fan.
if we're lucky, we'll talk to him at the end of this race. But
Definitely. But,
best of luck, Joseph. Thanks for joining us. And
so unfortunate there, but Nolan Hodgson is going to be leading us around for now. Josh Ward, Joe Stafford, and Zach Osborne as well. Up front there, and that here we go. Now the entire trajectory of this race changed because no pit strategy from here on out. No one else needs to come down pit road. It is going to be 17 laps to go, 16 when we get there, and it is Hodgson, Ward, Stafford up front, and they are all on the same team. They've been working together, but you got to get a win and lock yourself in, and that's going to be what these guys are thinking about here coming to it. You don't want to put your race on the line at a oval, especially in NASCAR, because we do those local cautions only. A bad turn can turn yourself into a bad race very, very quickly. So you can lock it in here and make sure you're good to go. That would be ideal for a couple of these drivers.
oh, for sure. And the one that I'm thinking about right now is Josh Ward, sitting in 10th place right now in the points. Only 5 points out, but I tell you what, Talladega and the Roval, if he wins this race, he doesn't have to worry. He's in the next round. That's all he's thinking about right now because he knows how much of a wild card this is and how much of a wild card next week is going to be at the Roval. But we're getting ourselves ready for a restart here with 15 laps to go. 78 complete, 15 more to, or I think that makes 16 rather, to complete our 94 lap distance into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Nolan Hodgson gets himself a nice little gap there, and we'll see if the one jumps down, takes that inside lane. There was a car length there, and the outside lane is stuck down to 2 guys, the inside, with a huge push.
Yeah, but what that's going to do, that's going to let all these people in the outside lane a little bit farther back kind of suck up to them. As the 23 of Austin Story leading the charge, their non-playoff driver, unfortunately, his hopes were dashed after a wreck with Lester, and I believe it was, I can't remember the race, but it was an accident. It was 100% an accident. It was just a wild, wild turn of events that the teammates got into each other, and that was kind of Austin Story's playoff hopes right there. But he's going to try and say, hey, I deserve to be here and get up there and get a win here at Talladega. Zach Osborne and Joseph Cossey, who's been a good pusher all day. He's going to try and get in there and push up to the lead, the 23 of Austin Story.
And like you said, getting a win here, I mean, it's a pretty big deal. It's the biggest track in all of NASCAR. It's the biggest, baddest super speedway, 2 2/3 miles, and you know, it's not quite Daytona, but this is somewhere that everybody in this field wants to win, and everybody here feels like they can win. And we're seeing a lot of that as we've got a lot of side-by-side going on for the lead. We've seen a good amount of different race leaders. Nolan Hodgson has been a top 10 guy throughout the course of this race, finds himself in the lead, and as we talk about leaders, we've got the 30 of Jeremy Miller sitting in 18th place. He led a lot of this race early on. That just goes to show how much things can change here at Talladega and how quick it can happen.
And he kind of got saved there. He's still on the lead lap right now, so he's kind of saved. But look at Joseph Lester. He's not out of this thing. He got that machine fixed. That Toyota Camry was pretty stout. Hopefully he's good inside the car, but able to come out here and kind of hold it up and say, hey, I might get taken out here, as he felt he was taken out, but he's still going to be able to come out here and make a run in that Waffle House 19. I love to see it. Is RJ Root going to take the lead on the outside lane? A couple drivers jumping up.
RJ Root with a huge push from the 48 Chevy Camaro, that Clips machine of Matt White. Huge push on the outside is going to push that 8 of RJ Root up to the race lead. And it looks like we got one slow up on the top side. Not totally sure who that is, but somebody decided to back out of this pack and jump back. But yeah, RJ Root holds on to this race lead. He won a lot of races last year. Hasn't quite seen the same success. Oh, we got a crash coming out of 2. Leo Bonacasa is around, and the I believe the 6 is also up in the wall with heavy damage there. That's was that potentially Dave Regal?
Maybe so. Let's take a look.
It looked like an RFK car, but I believe it was 75. We also got caught up in that, but we'll take a look here. Leo Buttkicker moves up to try to do a follow, and yeah, 24 just to his inside, makes a little bit of contact. 75 nowhere to go, tries to do a right hook, makes contact, and hits the wall heavily. Huge right side damage to that 20 or 75. Doesn't look like Leo Buttkicker has much damage after that spin, but definitely heavy contact into the outside wall by that 75 for Charles Eaton, and a tough break for him as he's going to have to come in and take repairs. We'll take another look here.
It looks like, I think the 24, that was just right when he got a push. He was getting a push from the 71. Oh, not the 71 there, but looks like he was getting pushed, and that's kind of what set this whole thing in motion. Was just a bad 75. It's wrong place, wrong time. As the 45, the checkup
The 45
happens.
moves up to try to follow. The checkup happens. I don't know if he was moving up to try to follow, I would assume, but yeah, obviously he moves up. The 24 moves to his middle lane, and when he comes back down, ends up getting together with the 24, turns around at the 75 with nowhere to go. It's a tough deal there, but it looks like the 45 is able to get going. Hopefully that 75 doesn't have too much right side damage here late in the race. Might be able to get back on and gain a few points, but as we've got 11 laps to go right now, getting close to that 10 to go mark. Probably be 9 to go when we go green. We've got 16 cars on the lead lap right now. 16 cars, we'll say, with the chance to win it. And RJ Root, like we mentioned, he's been strong in this league. Hasn't quite had the success that he has looked for in the last few years. He's got 5 wins this year, which is the second most out of anybody in this league. But
Absolutely.
you know, he's got to feel a little bit more competitive when somebody else jumps in and gets those wins. He's sitting here holding the lead here at Talladega, trying to advance to the next round. But
Definitely, and that's one thing about these guys is they come in here and they are absolutely ready to go to war. And RJ is right now. He's got Matt White behind him. One thing I do want to go over, folks, for you guys at home, and of course I was asked to interview the top 3 finishers from Texas because we did miss the last of that race.
Absolutely,
due to some technical interviews. But Matt White was the first place finisher there, locked himself in. Matt currently in that 48 machine is running second, so I don't want to get in there and jinx him at all. Alex Murray, you know what? I'll probably talk to him again. We'll try and get him in here, but hey, we've talked to that guy a ton. Hopefully we can get him in here soon. And Joseph Cossey, he's the only one I'm worried about, but he finished 3rd last week. But anything can happen at Dega. I want these guys focused on where their heads are right now. And then again, we apologize to those folks for what happened last week. I was going to try and get them in on an interview, but then those wild cautions. I don't want to take a step away and jinx these guys and get their mind wrong. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get that 1,000%. But like you said, we've got Matt White, Alex Murray, and Joseph Cossey. We're going to get them in for their post-race interviews a week late. But we're going to get them up in here just before we interview the top 3 of this race today. But we've got 9 laps to go. It looks like they're taking 1 to green right now. Lights on the pace car staying on. So not quite 1 to green right now. We've got 10 to go as they cross the line. Perfect for me. I would just okay. Yeah, no. Sorry, it was
because we have a little bit of an issue here. We're going to go ahead and go over some of our supporters here for Sunday Night NASCAR. And then Alex Murray, Haley. Haley is the girlfriend of Alex. She's in the chat saying hopefully they'll be in their back soon. Well, hope in one hand and then put your trust in Alex Murray in the other, because I guarantee we'll talk to Alex Murray some more. If anything, we always interview our championship 4 drivers before the championship, and I know for a fact he'll be there. He's got 58 bonus points. I think he will be fine.
11 wins on the season out of 28 starts. That guy is
he's money for sure. But we'll go over another thing that's very important here. Of course, the Davis Brothers Roofing folks. We do appreciate them. When I can get to the right thing, there we go. The Davis Brothers Roofing. They have been in the greater Tennessee area since 1983, older than both me and Liam. So they've been around for a while. They're not none of these fly-by-night roofers that are chasing hail, chasing storms. They are out here actually doing the work for the community. So if you're in the greater Tennessee area, holler at these guys. Get your commercial and residential roofing covered. They can do it for you. Again, that's DavisBrothersRoofing.com.
Davis Brothers has been with us for, I mean, since I started calling this league. This is a damn good company, and like James said, they're not trying to sit here and chase, profits. They're in it to help out their community, and I think that's a really good deal for a business like that. So, like you said, if you're in the greater Tennessee area, Davis Brothers Roofing is, they're a really good call. They're great people. They've been with us for a long time, and they're just
definitely
they're great stuff. So,
and as well,
definitely shout out to Davis Brothers for sticking around with this league for as long as they have, because we've seen some phenomenal racing, and I hope they've got some great exposure because of it. I've had a blast with this Cup Series, Davis Brothers Cup Series.
Definitely. Now going on to Buttkicker. Appreciate them as well, coming on, helping out some of these drivers. Non-playoff season points champ at the end of this thing. The non-playoff driver is coming home with a Buttkicker, I'm pretty sure, so definitely appreciate them. Definitely help you out, get you raced a little bit. But we are one to go here, Liam. I'll let you go ahead and get the call.
All right, we have 8 laps to go here. RJ Root is your race leader. Matt White on the outside. Green flag is in the air as these guys hit the Geico restart zone in the inside lane. More RJ Root than anyone gets a huge restart. Inside there, 54 of Nolan Hodgson gets a big push from Josh Ward as he jumps down and on the inside lane, making big moves. Hodgson going to take the lead out of turn number 2. But RJ Root with a big push from the 48.
It's time to go. It is heading to that point. 8 laps to go. RJ Root, Matt White, Ryan Samuelson trying to cut the head off the snake that has been Money House and Propel down there with Nolan Hodgson, Austin Story, and Josh Ward. RJ Root, Matt White buckled up together, and then we got Nolan Hodgson pushing the daylights out of the 81 as he's trying to get up there and secure his spot. Ryan Samuelson's another one that could really use a point.
54 looks down to the inside. Matt White gives him the space, and now RJ Root gets up in front of Matt White. Is that going to leave the inside open for a race for the lead?
Is that what we're seeing here? Is not sure what's going on here in the back. Joseph, there we go. The back one trying to get together. I heard that over the radio, but up front, it's the Root and White show as they're working together. Oh, a little bit of bump there.
Austin Story had to react there and moves up to the top, and it turns out to work well for his momentum as he works up to the top side of the 48, Matt White. Now he's got a nice run coming up off of 4, trying to take the lead away from RJ Root. Looks like he's got to push to get it done. We'll see if it gets done at the line. Austin Story with a huge push from Nicholas Breidenbach. Now he's going to jump down. Breidenbach up top with a big push from the 24. No, that's the 40, rather, of Alex Murray.
That was a scary moment there for Ryan Samuelson and not Nicholas Breidenbach, Nolan Hodgson. Nolan was going low, kept his tires where they were supposed to be, and it looked like Ryan Samuelson got caught a little bit high. They touched, but Nolan was not giving up his position, so he stayed there and forced Ryan Samuelson out of it, and now he's at the back.
Middle goes Alex Murray, contact! Sideways is Matt White. Sideways is Seba Cornez. The caution's going to come out. The 30 of Jeremy Miller is involved. The 16 of Zach Osborne as well. Alex Murray made a move to the middle, coming out of turn number 4, and contact happened. And I'm surprised that was not bigger than it was. But Seba Cornez, unfortunately, got turned up towards the outside wall, along with the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who had nowhere to go with Seba Cornez. A tough break there, but we've got 5 to go right now. It looks like we're going to overtime, and, well, let's dissect this. We see Alex Murray in the middle there trying to make a move with Breidenbach. Unfortunately, just seems to clip the inside of Matt White, and these guys get together coming up off the corner. Comes back down into White, sends him up top. Miller looks to be trying to get to the outside to avoid it. Seba Cornez thinking the same thing, just not quite clear, and heavy wall contact for Miller there. You see that toe link broken, that wheel moving around. Seba Cornez with heavy contact as well. I'm not sure how bad the damage is going to be. But we see that 16 of Zach Osborne got stuck there on the transition, got kind of high-sided. He's going to have to take a tow, and that's going to effectively end his bid to win this race.
That was very unfortunate. Started a little bit sooner than you. Looks like a checkup by the 24 is what caused the 40 to try and get under him, but then just no room had to be given there, and they didn't. Luckily, I think Alex Murray came out of that relatively unscathed, as well as Nicholas Breidenbach. It was everybody behind him that had the issue.
It looked like the 24 had a nice run up on the 40 and was trying to push him, and then when he got the run, he moved down to the middle. And
well, I guess now we can talk to Matt White. I was trying to hold that off, but
we sure can.
And talk to him. I'll go ahead and grab him. Matt, it's James in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, 100%. I got you.
Hey, so unfortunately, I was trying to wait to talk to you until after everything because you're in a really good position there, but just didn't fall your way. Luckily, Matt, you won the race last week at Texas. You have locked yourself in. I bet this stings a lot less now.
Yeah, 100%. It stings a lot less having that win locked up there at Texas. We had a really good car there and was able to hold off Alex for the finish there. Yeah, here it was just a little bit of crazy Talladega racing, and you know how that can get.
Absolutely, Matt. Well, again, I'd personally like to apologize for you that we were unable to make that happen with those technical difficulties, but I am glad that you were able to get the win, and you've spent a lot of time up front here, kind of on cruise control. Which race are you looking forward to since you're the only driver locked in? Which race in the round of 8 are you got circled?
Homestead is my circle. Definitely Homestead is going to be the race where I feel like I can do the best. One of my favorite tracks on the service. Got something really whipped up there, so hopefully we make it happen at Homestead.
Definitely. Well, Matt, of course, it's not over here at Talladega. Anything can happen at overtime. But good luck moving forward, and good luck at the Roval next week as well if we don't talk to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, James.
You're very welcome. Which team am I sending you back to, sir?
Joe Gibbs, where Chris is.
There we go. Appreciate you, and again, good luck. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
We appreciate Matt White joining us here. Obviously, our winner last week at Texas in a pretty phenomenal race here, but we've got Talladega 4 laps to go right now, coming to 3 to go as they cross the stripe here. Just a quick shout out to the YouTube chat. I see we got 24 people up in here. Tommy Kreinberg says, I love you, Alex, and I love you, Lydia. Alex Murray is popped up in the chat. So
that is the
good to
girlfriend.
see you there.
That is Haley.
Oh,
Haley
that's
Murray.
Haley.
Not Haley Murray. Girlfriend.
Haley designed the car that Alex is rocking right now. So good for you, Haley. Glad to see that paint scheme. And Callie H is also rooting for Nolan Hodgson. Get her done, 54. So we've got some fans in the chat. We've got 24 people with us on YouTube. Sorry, there, YouTube. And we've got a couple more with us on Facebook as well. We appreciate everybody joining us as we watch some of the best on the service deal with this 2 2/3 mile tri-oval. And if you're just tuning in now, you've missed a lot, but no major wrecks. We've seen a lot of green flag pit stops and some penalties shape kind of the way this race has gone. Looks like Chris Cloud is back out on the racetrack, but
yeah, penalties. You've kind of gotten able to come out and take care of business with the cautions, but here we go. It's going to be a green-white checkered. They're going to get the green. They're going to get the white, and then the next flag's going to end it. If they don't get that white flag, if a caution comes out, which is very unlikely here at Talladega, folks, unless something crazy happens, they're going to re-rack them, restack them, and do them again. But Austin Story out front. Damon Lester says, let's go MHR. Love to see that. Appreciate you, Damon. Need to catch up, brother. Hope everything's going well for you.
Much love for Damon, but like you said, we've got overtime here, but it's not quite overtime. This is still regulation. We've got 2 laps to go to finish out the 94 laps of this race. So this is a green-white checker for sure, but this is not quite overtime. So if they do crash before the white, we've got another chance. But Austin Story getting ready to lead him down. 2 laps to go. RJ Root on the outside. Nolan Hodgson right behind the inside. Green flag is out, and the inside lane with a huge push. We've got contact happening already. The third row gets together. The 24 and the 40, it looked like, had a bit of a moment there getting together. RJ Root trying to do everything he can with that big push from the 40, but the top 2 getting away just a bit here through turns 1 and 2.
That's not good. You don't want to get out in front of Talladega. That's going to get a huge run. And Nicholas Breidenbach really needs a win here to lock himself in before. But RJ Root, Alex Murray, Joseph Cossey going to bring it around on the top. See if they're going to bring the teammate down. Nothing doing for that.
Is also clear. The top 4 on the outside gets clear of the inside lane. And it doesn't look like, well, we've got 3 white action right now. I want to hope for this white flag, but it looks like that top 4 is all together, working together. White flag is in the air. Next flag ends the race. We won't see a caution. Top 4 under a blanket, but single file. RJ Root leads Alex Murray. Joseph Cossey and Matt Gaskins not too far behind the rest of the pack. Try to do everything they can to get back up there and make a run at it. Austin Story, you see there on the inside. And the 54 also with a bit of a problem. We'll double check that after the fact. But a huge push from the 40 of Alex Murray to the back end of RJ Root. Will Alex Murray try to pull out and make a move here? Look at the run on the inside. The 24 gets sideways. Another side-by-side there. 3 wide in the back. It doesn't matter right now. Does Alex Murray have a run? Crashing behind. It doesn't matter. To the back bumper. Alex Murray pushes RJ Root to the win here at Talladega.
Wow, what a wild finish that you couldn't. You had to have timing and scoring up to see all the implications of that race right there.
Absolutely, we've got a lot to unpack on that last lap. I did my best to follow that lead race, but there was a lot happening there, and definitely a lot to unpack in terms of how these guys are going to point up as they move into the Roval next week. But what a phenomenal race! RJ Root and Alex Murray worked beautifully together. Alex did not leave the back bumper, RJ, and those guys had it down. RJ Root in that Chevy Camaro is coming through the tri-oval. You see him check it up just a bit. Going to get a nice burnout there. You got some breast cancer awareness scheme and also clips speakers there. But RJ Root going to burn it down here at Talladega after a phenomenal 94 laps from this group. Almost picture perfect donuts right there. And James, I'll double check with you. Do we go 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3?
Right now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, but I almost just want to hop into Filler's race there, but no, we'll go ahead. I'll grab him. I'll grab RJ Root. You get the rest of them in the waiting room. As RJ Root burning it down till that thing blows up. Locked in. How's it feel?
Oh man, it feels great to be back in victory lane. You know, I haven't been able to finish one out since Road America, and man, it's that was so much fun. I really thought I blew it there on that last restart. Just I couldn't get it to shift into second gear, and luckily I had Alex behind me, and I knew Alex wasn't gonna leave me. He was pretty much locked into the next round, and I had a really bad week last week, and you know he told me just get ready for the shove.
Definitely, and with teammates like that, I'm telling you, you guys all raced worrying about the Propel MHR guys, and by the end of it, it was Filler again, taking it away. I know in that 8 machine, I do hurt for the race we just lost. Looking forward next week at the Roval, because I know you and Alex, if it came down to that there, it would have been wild, but locking yourself in, you guys are good. Is that change going into the Roval for you?
Not one bit. I love the Roval. I love road course racing, and you know the Roval is one of my favorite tracks on the schedule. So we're gonna put in some work, and we're gonna go out there and try to win 2 in a row. I know Alex is probably gonna miss next week, so that takes a little bit of pressure off me, but that's not gonna stop how much I'm gonna practice.
Definitely, and I know that's gonna be a good one. But winning here at Talladega, pushed by the teammate, getting by Austin Story and them, all the carnage in the rearview mirror where it should be. Tell us who gets it done for you and who you want to shout out today.
I got to thank all of the charities and different organizations in support for breast cancer awareness. I got to thank Klipsch, BD Technology, Shamrock Auto Care, Magic, everyone at Prodigy Esports. It's been a hell of a year, and it's not gonna be anything less exciting than it has been all year.
I know I'm looking forward to it. All the fans in the stands are as well, sir. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week after what I'm sure is going to be an amazing total race battle there at the Roval.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to be up there. You know, if I don't win, I hope that I can at least finish on the podium.
And I don't want to rob you because I did ask Matt this. What race do we have circled on the round of 8 to make sure you make it to that championship?
I definitely would have to say Martinsville.
Martinsville is another one of those tracks that I always circle that really excited for. I know Matt's really excited for Homestead, which I'm up there with him on it. Homestead's a great track, multiple lanes that you can run. But for me, it's definitely got to be Martinsville. I love short track racing as much as I love road course racing.
Definitely. Well, again, RJ, man, we appreciate you. Congratulations on the dub here. Go celebrate with the team, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you next week.
Thank you.
Appreciate RJ Root jumping up in here with us, but now we've got Alex Murray is up in the booth. Liam and James is up here with me. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Well, I tell you what, you don't have enough of a name rail to fit all those win stickers on, but you played a really key part in pushing RJ Root to the win. Kind of walk us through that last run you guys had. I know it got kind of interesting there with the restart, but kind of walk us through what you guys had going on.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to apologize to the 24 and everyone over there at Propel. I did not mean to get into him. Both times I did. The first time I got a little over ambitious and put us 3 wide in a bad situation, and on the restart there, RJ missed a shift, and then Joseph hit me from behind, and it sent me sideways. And at that point, I was kind of stuck where I was, and I was turning right to get off of him, kept getting shoved. So apologize to those guys. I know he needed a really good run. He still ended up 4th, but still sucks that we made contact twice for no reason. But the last restart was really just get RJ a good push and try not to blow up pushing him. So that was pretty much the game plan there. Other than that, car was a rocket ship. RJ held his line real good, and Joseph helped us from behind. So can't ask for anything more than that.
Awesome stuff. Before we jump to the end, I want to ask you guys made a really good call on your green flag pit stops towards the middle of the race. Kind of, was that something you guys had planned out, or did it just kind of happen by the seat of the pants there? You guys, I don't know, jumped out pretty far out front.
So I think when we pit there, we all kind of came to the agreement that, you know, our guy leading had about 8 laps of fuel left. We were gonna probably pit when he got to about 5 laps of fuel left, and it should get us to the end. And then we ended up having to pit under caution anyway, getting 4 tires and just hopping off. But it ended up paying off, getting us the track position to put us in the position to do the 4 tires and still being inside the top 10. So we planned it, but we weren't sure if it was going to work. So glad it worked, and glad we're sitting here talking to you guys.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you talking with us. You put on a damn good show today. You want to let us know who's with you?
I got to thank Clips. Got to thank BD Technology Group, Track Racer, BRTV, my girlfriend. I made this. So funny story behind this paint scheme is she wanted a sunflower car, so we came to the compromise of, okay, I'll put sunflowers in the numbers and I'll paint it like a sunflower. So gotta shout her out and make her happy. And I'm not sure if she's watching. She's got to go to work tomorrow. So but yeah, she's always supportive of this. So I got to thank her and obviously the whole crew at Prodigy Esports. We've been on a roll lately, and hopefully it doesn't slow down anytime soon.
Well, awesome stuff. We appreciate you joining us here.
No problem.
Well, Alex, I would like to get in here. Sorry, I was messing with the camera trying to see what sunflowers you were talking about. I was like, oh, there they are. I did. I was like, man, my paints aren't right again. I'm gonna get murdered by Chris, but they were right. Looks gorgeous. I didn't bring you in midway through the race because we were told to interview you guys for Texas, but I did not want to break concentration. Plus, I knew for a fact, Alex, I talked to you just about every freaking week.
Yep.
And I knew you'd be up there at the end of it. So just give us a quick 1 or 2 sentences on Texas and how that second place came together for you.
I got tight running behind Matt there with about, I think it was on the white flag lap actually, and would have had a shot at him at the restart. I messed up the restart, and he got enough of a gap to hold me off. But just another Prodigy Esports driver getting a win, so it doesn't matter to me. And I was already locked in as long as I started this race. So the more guys that win, the better. That isn't me. So
That's gonna make the
we'll just.
championship that much harder, Alex.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna suck when I get to the championship 4 and it's all guys on the same setup. But
It's a good problem to have, I suppose.
I suppose it is. Yeah, but gotta keep doing what we do, and hopefully we have a good one for the Roval. I'll be in Ohio next week, so I'll be watching on the YouTube. But we'll see how they do there.
Definitely. All right, we'll let you go, Alex. And again, congratulations on the second place and a good team.
10-4. Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right, now
Joseph Cossey. Joseph, man. First of all, now that I start this one, sorry we missed the third place finish for you last week, third or second.
I think it was third. I'm pretty sure it was third. I've
Well-
come back to back in thirds.
Well, I knew
Unfortunately-
you'd do well here, so I knew you'd have an opportunity to come in and do the interview. But third place here at Talladega, you were a good pusher all race. Was that the key? Making friends and being able to put yourself in a position at the end to come in third?
Yeah, I'm good friends with Alex and them and everything, with RJ and them. I try to work with them as best I could, because I don't know very many people in this league, but the ones I met in here and there. But it was just trying to make show I was a decent pusher and everything else, just to try to stay up towards the front and be up front near the end of this thing. And got near the end, and I thought I was gonna try to jump out in front of that pack that was coming down low. I thought about it, but then they made a little mistake, and then after that, I was just stuck behind RJ and Alex, and I couldn't go nowhere else. I was foot to the floor. So that was a third place finish for me, no matter what. I couldn't get to them after that.
Now, Joseph, I feel like we saw that 88 car going up through the pack and cutting through, making moves more than anybody else today. Obviously, you kind of had the strategy to stay up front, but kind of walk us through how it was getting through that pack, getting back up front.
Yeah, I try to stay up front most of the time. I think I got pushed back one time and then worked my way back towards the front. And then we also had those green flag stops, and then that one pack was way out there, about 4 or 5 seconds worth, and we reeled them down, and got back to them, and then tried to pit early. And then some of us got some speeding penalties. I was unfortunate enough not to get a speeding penalty, and was able to come back, and glad to finish third. It was pretty good.
Awesome stuff. You threw on a phenomenal race, James. I don't know if you got anything else, but otherwise, who's supporting you? Who's helping you out here? We definitely want to hear you give some shout outs.
I like to thank my guys at Frontline Esports. We try to do very good. I'm trying to build these setups, try to get some great setups for A Opens and IS, and I like coming in here and doing this league as well. Bruzy, like to thank a Bruzy, like to thank Razor. And also main sponsor on the hood, like to thank Don Wheaton. If you're in the Canada area, go get a car from him. And that's about it.
Joseph, congratulations once again on your third place finish at Talladega, and also on your finish at Texas. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties we had last week. We weren't quite able to get the interviews going, but definitely appreciate you joining us here and talking about your race.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And thank the broadcast.
All right. Well, I think that's going to about do it here. We had extended conversations with our podium here, and talked with our podium from last week as well. We had ourselves a phenomenal race at Talladega, and I tell you what, it checked all the boxes is what I'm sorry.
Definitely checked all the boxes. It was a good race, a good finish. I want to first of all appreciate everybody here who has been watching throughout. We'll go ahead and run through the final results real quickly here, as we always do. I'll take that over. As of course in first place is going to be your winner RJ Root. Then we got Alex Murray, Joseph Cossey, and rounding out the podium. Nicholas Breidenbach had a really good finish that he really needed there in fourth. Alex Brinson in fifth. Josh Ward, Dave Regal, Austin Story, Leo Bonacasa, and Matt Gaskins round out the top 10. Then we have Joseph Lester, Alexander Gingler getting in the car here today, finishing 12th. Zach Osborne, Ryan Samuelson not having the race he needed, and Nolan Hodgson as well back there in 15th. But
a lot of fans in the chat for Nolan, 13th or 15th rather, not where he wanted to be.
And then Matt White, 16th, is going to be, luckily he's locked in. Joe Stafford, 17th. Corey Burkett, 18th. 19th, Seba Cornez. 20th, Randy Belk. Jeremy Miller, Charles Eaton, Jeff Carson, Brad Gunn, Zach Rinker get you to 25th. Then we have Zendla Collins, Wyatt Fink, Zachary Vaughn, Lauren Jones, Randy Spivey, Chris Claude, Ken Ron, and Chad Sander. That's going to do it for us here at Talladega. Liam, do you have any final notes? And then I'll let you break off the ice and send her off.
Well, I mean, sounds good. We had ourselves a fantastic race. RJ Root with a pretty good victory there. He had himself a solid push from Alex Murray, who's been one of the best all season. I always love to see a clean Talladega race. We had a couple of cautions there and a couple of incidents, but always love to see the guys playing nice. RJ Root with a phenomenal win, Alex Murray and Joseph Cossey rounding out our podium. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. That's James and Liam over here at SRM. Thanks once again for joining us here on a phenomenal night of racing, and I hope everybody has a great night.